The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeat the Kansas City Chiefs in blowout form. The Lakers heat up on a win streak and take the lead in the NBA standings. Carson Wentz and the rest of the quarterback trade carousel could begin any week or any day this week. And in local news, we'll discuss the Seahawks and the circulating Russell Wilson rumors regarding his possible trading. Hopefully not. We'll discuss all that and more today. It's just me. Maybe we'll have some interviews. This is the NW Sportscast.
Yeah. Seattle stand out.
Alrighty, so we are going to kick things off with the Super Bowl 55. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been named as the champions of the Super Bowl. Did not see this coming. I'm going to be honest. Didn't see it coming. I think I'm the last member of the Sportscast to give my take on it. But, yeah, I didn't see it coming. I thought the Chiefs were going to win. I was rooting for the Chiefs. Bucs pleasantly surprised me, though. That defense, wow. I mean, I remember I was watching the game. First quarter, I remember thinking, it might be too early, but it's only the first quarter. But I was thinking already by then, the Bucs defense looks really good. The only person that they really weren't going after in the first quarter was Mahomes. They gave Mahomes a lot of time, and he was running around back there, but he didn't have anywhere to throw to. And then in the second half, they started pressuring Mahomes, and that made him unstoppable. I mean, the defensive scheme that the Bucs used, all the credit to Todd Bowles and the players as well. I mean, that is a good front four. You got Vita Vea, Jason Pierre-Paul, Dominic Sue. Wow, Shaq Barrett also. I'm gushing over their defense, but that was almost as good as the Legion of Boom. I have to say that was almost as good as the Legion of Boom against the Broncos. Now, obviously, different style of defense. The Bucs are less strong in the secondary. They're stronger in the pass rush. We, of course, the Legion of Boom was stronger in the secondary, but even still, their secondary did a darn good job. Outside of a couple of miracle passes that should have been caught by the Chiefs, there was hardly any Chiefs players that were open. And even in those miracle passes, I'm thinking of the sideline throw, Mahomes to Hill, where Hill just hit his face mask and he couldn't catch it. Even in that play, Hill was being guarded. So the Buccaneers secondary did a fantastic job. Tom Brady, I didn't think he should have been the MVP, not necessarily because he was bad, but he definitely missed some throws. There were some penalties that helped him out. So I wouldn't have given him the MVP. Honestly, if I was choosing, I would have given the MVP award to Gronk for those 2 touchdowns. I think he had six catches, 2 touchdowns, and he is incredibly good at blocking as well. So that's my take on the MVP. Maybe it's just because I don't think Brady should have 5. 4 is plenty. Let him have 4. But in all seriousness, I mean, it's crazy how the sports media has just decided to bow to Brady. And finally, I mean, it took them long enough, myself included. If there was ever an ounce of me that was considered a Brady hater or a Brady doubter, not anymore. I don't doubt it anymore. I don't hate it anymore. I respect the GOAT. Everyone else has been respecting the GOAT too. It's crazy to see because even earlier in the season, people talking about, oh, Tom Brady, he's washed. Oh, he's finished. Yeah, okay. So I think Tom Brady's put those rumors to an end. All right, next up, the NBA season has been underway. LeBron James and the Lakers finally proving themselves to me. I don't know if I'd put them as the best team. I still really like the Jazz. I think the Lakers have probably proven that they're better than the Nuggets, though. Obviously, I was a big Nuggets last week on my power rankings. I said I had the Nuggets at 1. I have the Lakers. Now I would move the Lakers ahead. I'd probably put them ahead of the Clippers too. The Jazz, I will say, the Jazz look really good. The Bucks have won, I think, 5 in a row. The Milwaukee Bucks, not to be confused with the Tampa Bay Bucks, but the Milwaukee Bucks have won 5 in a row. So have the Lakers. LeBron James, though, the GOAT of basketball, putting on a show. I think right now he's the MVP favorite. Joel Embiid, number 2. I mean, it's almost sad to me. I never really used to root for the Lakers. But like Brady, it's hard not to root for LeBron. He's just so good. And I think one of the things that makes me want to root for him, and makes me want to root for these good players, is because the work ethic is so impressive. I mean, you see what LeBron's able to do day in and day out. Getting a Lakers team that I thought was overrated headed into the season. And I think they've started to prove it to me. They got a really good win over the Nuggets. That helped. They've won 5 in a row. I think they have the best road record in the NBA. All good stuff to see. LeBron James, fantastic player. In my opinion, he's the GOAT of basketball. That's a conversation for another time when we have other hosts on to discuss. But I mean, fantastic. And the Lakers, they've proven me wrong. All right, topic number 3: Carson Wentz and the NFL quarterback wheel, as people are calling it, the carousel. I have to say, I understand that there's going to be some quarterbacks moving teams this offseason. But from what the sports analysts and the sports insiders have made it out to be, they're really trying to sell this carousel thing. And I don't really know if I'm going to buy exactly what they're saying. According to Adam Schefter, there will be more than 18 quarterbacks who find new homes this offseason. So far, there have been 3 notable quarterbacks. Jared Goff and Matthew West swapped teams. And Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins signed with the Steelers. Those are the 3 moves that have happened so far. So according to Adam Schefter, ESPN's top NFL inside reporter, there's going to be 15 more quarterbacks who change teams. I don't buy that one bit. I do think that there's a chance Carson Wentz will be traded, but even still, it's remarkable to me how the Eagles have completely blown the Carson Wentz situation. So Wentz, obviously, one of the more talented quarterbacks in the NFL, but the stats, they don't really live up to the talent. And last year, neither did the wins. Statistically, last year, he was one of the worst quarterbacks. I think I rated him at like number 28 or number 29, something like that. I was not high at all on Carson Wentz last year. However, in previous years, Wentz has been very good, and he's proven he can be very good. So he does deserve to be a starter for at least one more season to try to prove he can get back to his old form. That's what the Eagles should be touting when they try to trade him. Instead, the Eagles have lost pretty much all of their leverage because they've pretty much, the organization has made it clear that they're moving on from him. He's made it clear he's moving on from the organization. That leaves teams with basically knowing that the Eagles are going to trade him, so they know that they can offer less. Now, the Eagles, on their parts, are pretty stupid to ask for a Stafford-esque deal, already knowing that the Rams vastly overpaid for Stafford, right? Stafford is not worth 2 first-rounders. And I think everybody knows that. The Eagles think Wentz is worth 2 first-rounders and a quarterback? No, he's not. My goodness. As good as Wentz has been, and as good as he was in 2017, Carson Wentz is not worth 2 first-rounders and a starter. And that's just not Carson Wentz. I'm sorry. But the Eagles appear to be holding off on trading him unless that is what they can get. So unfortunately for the Eagles, it's going to be difficult to get a better deal than probably one first rounder and maybe somebody on defense. I don't know. I just personally, I don't think any team is stupid enough to offer up 2 first rounders and a starting quarterback for Carson Wentz. The Rams did it for Stafford, and I thought that was stupid of them. I mean, really? Supposedly the Bears are the favorite to land Carson Wentz. Interesting dynamics there because Nick Foles also is on the Bears. So that can be a fun situation to watch next year. Now, the Eagles, I'm pretty sure they were the most talked about NFL team this year on ESPN outside of the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. Maybe the Steelers. So for a team that won 4 games, they certainly got a lot of national media coverage. The media liked controversies. The Eagles gave them a controversy. So that's the latest on the Eagles situation. We'll have Alex and Lorenzo. They'll be able to discuss that further. They are our resident Eagles fans. All right, let's get into the top 10 headlines in Northwest sports. Number 10, the Seahawks have released offensive lineman Chance Warmack after 1 season with the team. Warmack never played a snap in 2020. Former first-round pick for the Titans. There's actually no pictures of him in a Seahawks jersey because he opted out of the season. He's a guy who, when I first heard about the signing, I thought, maybe he'll be good. He was a first rounder after all, but we'll never know. Didn't play. Not very important. Number 9, D. Gordon, former Mariners second baseman, has signed with the Reds on a spring training invite. It's not guaranteed that he will make the big league roster. I think he probably won't. But he's probably one of the players who would be first in line for a call up if an infielder or an outfielder, if anybody really on the team gets COVID or gets injured, D. Gordon would probably be one of the first in line to replace them. But honestly, I'm a little bummed out. I like D. Gordon. If I remember correctly, I believe he was our honorary man of the year. I forget what the award's called. But it was like the best player of the community or something. Not a very good stats season last year. We moved him to left field. I think he ended up qualifying as like our 12th man. So he didn't even qualify as a utility. So he was a backup. He was fine as a backup. Good defense, good veteran presence, and he's a good person. So I wish we could have found room for him. Personally, I would take him in left field still. I know he hit like 210 last year, but I would still rather have D. Gordon in left field over Jose Marmolejos and Jake Fraley. But apparently the Mariners would not. So they have not re-signed him. It was pretty clear they wouldn't re-sign him. Hopefully he does well with the Reds. Number 8, the Seattle Kraken searching for a new mascot. Well, I guess not new, but their first mascot. They're searching for their first mascot. I kind of envision that this is going to be some sort of like big sea beast creature thing. Wouldn't that be interesting? Put a guy in an actual Kraken costume. That's what I want to see. More likely, it's going to be some sort of fish or like a dragon thing, which would be cool too. If they get a dragon, I'd be down for that. All right, number 7, Brian Schottenheimer, former Seahawks offensive coordinator. It has been announced he's going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's going to be their passing game coordinator. Interesting developments, I have to say, from a Jaguars perspective. If I'm a Jaguars fan, I'm not really a huge fan of this deal, to be honest. Schottenheimer, as a passing game coordinator, I don't know if he's the guy I would hire. The dude only knows how to throw deep balls. I mean, all the plays we were running, all the passing plays we ran were basically just deep balls. Terrible. He's terrible on drawing up midfield plays. He knows some deep balls, but that's about it. And he's going to have a rookie quarterback that he's going to be working with, Trevor Lawrence. I know Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. Great quarterback. Phenomenal talent. But do you really think that Trevor Lawrence, all they're going to have him do is throw deep balls? So hopefully this is more of a Schottenheimer's going to go to advise Lawrence and advise him on his development rather than Schottenheimer's going to go and have a huge impact on the play calling. Because if he's, especially considering his passing game, I mean, if anything, hire him to be a run game coordinator. Speaking of the Schottenheimer family, though, sad news, his father, Marty Schottenheimer, passed away today, 78 years old. One of the winningest coaches in NFL history. 14 seasons until he had a losing season. And he coached with, I think, 4 different teams. Chiefs, Chargers, and 2 others. I think Washington and 1 other team. So Marty Schottenheimer, rest in peace. Number 6, the Seahawks Super Bowl odds were announced for 2022, and it's not as good as I would have expected. They brought us in at the 10th best odds. Look, I mean, I'm okay if you put us at 10, but some of the teams they ranked ahead of us don't deserve to be. Like, they put the Rams, the 49ers, and the Browns ahead of us. Frankly, I think that's ridiculous. We're better than the 49ers. I think we've proven that. I think we've deserved to be. I don't care that their players are injured this year. I think we're better. I think we're darn better than the 49ers. We're at least a game better than them. And the Rams, I just don't understand. They get one new player and suddenly the world's ending. The sky's falling in LA. They get one new player and suddenly they're like the Super Bowl favorites. I don't get it. I don't get it. And the Browns at 9 ahead of us, also pretty dumb. The Dolphins and the Chargers are 2 of the teams that I would say might have better odds than us because of their young cores. And Justin Herbert makes the Chargers look like a pretty scary team next year. If he can continue to develop, the Chargers are going to be scary next year. But no, the Chargers and the Dolphins were both behind us. So, I mean, if they're gonna put us at 10 because they're gonna overvalue some of those young teams like the Dolphins and the Chargers, maybe Washington as well, I'm okay with that. I get it. I get putting the Dolphins and the Chargers ahead of us. I do. Even the Jaguars, I would understand if they put the Jags ahead of us because I know that they're gonna get Trevor Lawrence, who's a fantastic one of the most hyped up talent prospects of all time. But the fact that they put the Rams and the Browns and the 49ers, it's silly. So those are the betting odds. So obviously now the line will change depending on who places the bets where. Number 5, Kyle Lewis. Number 5, Kyle Lewis has been ranked as the number 93 best player in all of the MLB. On the MLB official player rankings, those came out to this morning, I believe, the 100 through 91. So Kyle Lewis comes in at 93, 1 spot ahead of White Sox Luis Robert. Also ahead of notable players such as Giancarlo Stanton and JD Martinez. The MLB player rankings, let me begin. The MLB player rankings are some of the dumbest lists that I've seen. We are going to be making our own MLB player rankings, and they will be much better than the MLB.com player rankings because the MLB.com player rankings are not good. They're just not. Kyle Lewis probably doesn't deserve to be in the top 100, if I'm being honest. If I'm being completely 100% honest, he does not deserve to be in the top 100. He's played like 65 games. That's not – I don't care how good you've done in 65 games. I need to see a little bit more to put you in the top 100. That being said, some of the guys that are also in the top 100 who are ahead of him should not be ahead of him. For example, the number 88 player was Alex Verdugo on the Red Sox. Alex Verdugo is not as good, not as talented as Kyle Lewis. And Alex Verdugo has played a similar amount of games. I mean, the way that they make I don't understand how they make these rankings. But the fact that they put Verdugo and Kyle Lewis and Luis Robert, who definitely does not deserve to be it. Luis Robert on the White Sox, he had about 2 good weeks last year. That was it. he was supposed to be the Rookie of the Year last year. He was the overwhelming favorite. And he just fell off a cliff in the month of September, and Kyle Lewis stole it from him. He fell off a cliff. He does not. The fact that they put Luis Robert, Kyle Lewis, and some of these other guys, they put them ahead of JD Martinez and Giancarlo Stanton, who I know that they're getting old, but don't forget, 2 years ago those guys were like the top power hitters in the MLB. Frankly, it's ridiculous. But congratulations to Kyle Lewis, anyways, on being at number 93. He's probably going to be the only Mariner to make the list. I would be surprised if they put Marco Gonzalez in there. The other one that, I mean, maybe they want to include Haniger or Kyle Seager. Highly doubt it. So he's probably our only guy. All right, number 4, the Portland Trailblazers. Their season has been moving along. They got a really nice win over the 76ers without Damian Lillard, which definitely impressed me. 12-10, I think they're the 6th seed right now. And right, I mean, at this point, that's where you want to be. To be honest, I wasn't expecting them to be any higher than the 5 seed. As long as you're not the 7 and the 8, and then risking a play-in game against the 9 and 10. I'm fine as long as you can secure a playoff series. So they're at number 6 right now, and they're still missing McCollum and Nurkic. Once they get McCollum and Nurkic back, they should be fine. Definitely not as good as the Lakers, unfortunately. Not as good as the Clippers. Not as good as the Jazz. Probably not as good as the Nuggets. The Kings, though, I mean, the Kings are – I think the Kings are the 7 seed. They're better than the Kings, I think. The Grizzlies are the 5 right now, aren't they? I think that's a team that we can definitely catch the Grizzlies, and even the Nuggets, who I think are a better team, they can always have a losing streak. So I think even the 4 seed is reasonable for us. So yeah, that's Portland Trailblazers. Not a ton of news really for them. Anthony Simmons, he looks really good. Just going to point that out. All right, number 3, the Storm, Seattle Storm, have signed 15-year veteran Candace Dupree. 15 years in the WNBA. She ranks 7th all-time in points, formerly on the Indiana team. I'm not sure what they are called. Let me look that up right now. Well, no matter what they're called, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. She was best on the Phoenix Mercury. She was number 6 draft pick, 2006. Yeah, 5th all-time in scoring, 6th all-time in rebounding. 6-time All-Star as well. So another solid 7-time All-Star, sorry. Another great signing, adding to the Seattle Storm. Definitely, obviously, Dupree is not as good as she once was, but still a very solid player to have on the team, joining Brianna Stewart and helping us continue our dominance. The fact that we are adding a WNBA legend, to be honest, I mean, 5th all-time in scoring, I would say she's a legend, to a team that just won a title. It's like the Dodgers signing Bauer. I would compare it to that. It's like the Dodgers signing Bauer. We're just getting better and better. So congratulations to the Storm for this great signing. Their season, I don't think it started yet, but hopefully there'll be more news on the Storm coming up soon. Actually, let me look. When does their season start? Storm 2021, June 1st, and the preseason, I don't know when. So the preseason will probably start in a couple months. I thought maybe they were already in the preseason, but they were not. All right, number 2, Russell Wilson has won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Congratulations to him on the award. Of course, fantastic player, fantastic person. He does a lot to help the community. Obviously, I always think back to his Tuesday schedule of visiting the kids in the hospital. Obviously, that's a fantastic tradition, and such a kind-hearted man. A great player, class act, to be in Seattle. We're so honored to have him. Check out that hairstyle. Look at that. In the ponytail. I don't know if I like it or not. I don't know if I like it. All right. And number one, sticking with Russell Wilson. The news today is that Russell Wilson's camp is growing increasingly frustrated with the fact that he gets sacked so many times. I hate to criticize the guy. First of all, I'm going to. First of all, Russell Wilson, his playing style partially contributes to the fact that he gets sacked so much. And I know maybe that's a controversial statement. I don't know. But I don't think it is. Watch the games. Russell Wilson has an ability, and this is actually something I admire about him. So I'm not trying to knock him on this, but he has an ability to make plays last longer than they should. He holds onto the ball, he runs around, he scrambles, he looks for the open receiver. He doesn't like to throw the ball away. He really doesn't. And that contributes to why he gets sacked so much. I know maybe you don't want to hear it. It's easy to blame the O-line. And I actually admire the quality in Russell Wilson, that he always tries to keep the play alive. He has too much hope almost. Too much hope's not a good thing, or not a bad thing. Excuse me, too much hope is not a bad thing at all. It's a great thing. But that is part of the reason why he gets sacked so much. It's because of his playing style. And secondly, he is the highest paid player on the Seahawks. And the Seahawks have about $5 million in cap space heading into next year. So that we can sign one offensive lineman for $5 million. But if we want to sign any more, that either means we're going to lose out on our running back, Chris Carson, or we're going to have to lose out on somebody else. Especially considering we also want to sign Dunlap. We want to re-sign Dunlap. Or, focus on the O-line instead of focusing on defense. I don't know. The problem is Pete Carroll would rather spend money on bringing in defensive players than bringing in offensive linemen. And I don't think Russell Wilson is very happy about that. Would I be? Probably not. If I'm Russell Wilson, quite honestly, I wouldn't be happy about it either. I mean, the fact is that he is the most sacked quarterback since he came into the league. He's routinely in the top 10 of quarterbacks who are sacked. I mean, yeah, I would say help the guy out. And I just wish, though, a quick rant here. The ESPN is stupid. It's stupid. Quick rant. The ESPN is stupid. I was watching the ESPN today, the NFL Live and the shows after that. According to them, if you listen to them, Russell Wilson is for sure to be traded. Just a sure thing, right? According to them. Oh, the QB carousel. They talk about the QB carousel. Russell Wilson's going to be part of the QB carousel. Somebody said, I think Brandon Marshall on Fox Sports, former Seahawk. According to Brandon Marshall, Russell Wilson is trying to respectfully leave the Seahawks. Basically, they're saying Russ is going to try to pull a Deshaun Watson, but in a nicer way. Okay, first of all, there's no claims about that. All Russell Wilson says is he doesn't want to get sacked as much, and he wants a bigger part in making decisions with the team. That's what he told Dan Patrick in an interview. I totally support that. He deserves to have that input. He is the leader. He's proven that he's the best player on the team. One of the best in the league. I think he's Tom Brady without the rings, is what he is. Can we make that clear? Russell Wilson is Tom Brady in a more difficult division without the rings. He reminds me of Tom. He really does. The work ethic, if you compare Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, have very similar work ethics, and they have very similar mindsets. It's always about getting better. It's always about the next game. I mean, even Aaron Rodgers. I watch his interviews with Pat McAfee. Aaron Rodgers looks back to the previous games. He looks back to the previous seasons. He cares about more than football. He cares about more than winning. Rodgers cares about stats. Rodgers cares about MVPs. Russell Wilson doesn't. Tom Brady doesn't. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, very similar in their mindset of always getting better, always getting the team better. They're both incredible team leaders. So there's my comparison. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is Tom Brady, but without the rings and in a much more difficult division. But you wouldn't know that if you watch ESPN. If you watch ESPN, I mean, according to ESPN, Russell Wilson is he's a pretty good quarterback and he wants out. No, he does not. Don't fall for the trade rumors. If you are a Seahawks fan listening, which I'm sure you are, don't fall for the rumors. Don't fall for the reports. Russell Wilson's not going anywhere. He's staying with us. He wants to stay with us. All he wants is more decision making, and I totally support that. He deserves it. Well, I think with that, that'll conclude the show. Thank you guys for watching. If you're listening on the podcasts, thank you guys for doing that. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Northwest Sports 6. Follow us on Instagram at NW Sportscast. Join our Discord. Links in the description down below. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow.